Aloha, aloha, Charlie.
Hey, Brother Mel, how you doing, man?
How are you?
Yeah, we are not on Hawaii News Now. We are on Facebook Live with Mel and Charlie. So it's great to see you all. Yes, got some people jumping on right now.
Oh yeah, let me put on my chat here. There we go. Look at his wake up time. Sam always puts that wake up time. The music. That's some good wake up music. That's the music I listen to every morning before I go and do my 5 mile run.
Okay, if you say so.
Uh, oh, no start again, Charlie. Do not. You know, last night sore stomach last night before
Yeah,
we even started. We had such such a serious show, but the pre-show was sore stomach,
yeah.
sore stomach.
That's what happens, brother. That's what happens.
Thanks to your new mom trying to take her 3-day-old infant to the beach. That
Yep.
started it.
Yep.
Ugh. I got an anniversary haircut, Tyson. You never watched the last 2 nights, huh? Haircut is old, bro. See how you can tell who watched the show every night when they. By the way, it is my anniversary. I wish my wife Patsy a happy 31st anniversary.
That's
She's
right.
like,
You know
oh
when you posted it this morning, you said 31 year anniversary, and then but you made it sound like it was her birthday. So that's why I was confused. So that's
No
why I
one
said happy.
said happy birthday.
No, I said
oh really?
happy any birthday. That's what I said, or something like
No,
that.
really?
Yeah,
Oh my God! Even that I not can do right. Jesus. Well, it's not her birthday. Her birthday is on January 21st.
oh,
She's older than me.
Oh, come on.
Look, what happened to my curtains? Another one. The curtains Patsy ordered some curtains, never come in yet.
yeah.
I listen, but I don't always watch. I just noticed. Everybody noticed that the curtains are gone.
Mhm.
It's okay. It's all right.
Yep.
We're gonna get them pretty soon. We're gonna get them. We're building my studio right now. Actually, I'm trying to build my studio.
Yeah. Oh, that's
The
good.
studio. Gonna be right in the garage. Yeah, wide open, open air studio. Gonna be an open air studio. Let me try to check out the lighting here. I look kind of dark. I don't know why, but
I have a couple
anyway,
couple
make
carpenters coming tomorrow.
huh?
So no, they gotta fix the railing on my second floor. The deck. I'll need
Yeah.
to fix the railing, and I fell down. Whew. I fell over the side. But first time, I landed on my head. I'm okay. I woke up, but I noticed that I was like, I know I went out, I fell maybe about 8 in the morning. I woke up like about 4 this afternoon. So I still kind of sunburned a little bit. You know,
Charlie, you're getting people off, shook. Gosh. Anyway, as you can see, we're having a little bit of fun. It's been a long day today. Been a long day, and we're going to chat about all kinds of things tonight. It's just Charlie and I. So if you want to wait for some celebrity, sorry.
Don't
So,
need step.
Steph and Patsy will be coming on. They're gonna do the second half of the show. Yeah. So just just hang around. They're gonna be on at I think 10 o'clock Hawaii Standard Time.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Oh God. Looks like your head floating with that black shirt. Oh yeah. Well, you see my shirt? Ano mo Manu Hea Li'i or whatever that is, but I get these Kauai strong shirts to remind me that Kauai is strong and we're gonna remain strong
Yeah.
and we're gonna get through this, guys. Everybody gonna get through this.
I want to apologize first. No, the house I'm in only has one story, The second story is from the two steps that you step down to the garage. So if you want to consider that a story, but I'm only kidding because one, I'm deathly afraid of heights, and two, I'm one of those that when I fly in the airplane, I just close my eyes and just I don't open them until I land. So because I am afraid of heights.
Well, Charlie, you know that I fly. I don't know my license yet, but I guess you could.
That can make somebody scared to go with you and you fly with no license. Yeah, I
No, no,
scared
no.
of that too.
It's not about normal. It's weird the way it works because you get on student license, a student pilot.
Yeah.
You can fly by yourself. You just cannot take passengers. But the day I get my license, which I need to do shortly, I would love to take you on my inaugural flight.
Okay. You know what? I'll FaceTime you and just make like I was there with you, but I'll be firmly on the ground, and I'll be more than happy to guide you in. Guide you like this. Give you all the directions. You see the movie
Excellent.
Airport? Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
When the guy was coming in, he goes, "Hey, where's so and so? Over there."
Yeah. Actually, I was. There's no way. I think if you and I went in that Cessna 172,
It
we
would
would
fly.
never. We
It
would
would
never get off the ground. We would never get off the ground. But
the bugger would fly cocky a little bit to the right.
but we would make it down the runway. I think we'd make it down the runway and be grateful on video. But we
No,
just would never take off. We would never take off.
the guys in the airplane tower would be, what the hell are they doing? going down, going down one way, turning around. They go, yeah, flight 178. Yeah, what are you doing? Yeah, we're trying to take off right now, but it just doesn't seem to be getting off the ground. We're gonna try one more time.
LOL, tomorrow, Uncle Mel, you can fly by yourself because the new proclamation says you got to do things solo. Oh, no. We go with it solo. Oh,
Who's that? Is that Tyson?
no, it's not Tyson. It's cousin Aho Okele. How about lifting up the runway? Hey, Diane Castillo is in Vegas. Man, I like go Vegas so bad. I like go Vegas so bad. But anyway, um, actually tonight we're going to cover a lot of stuff. But the first thing we want to cover is we want to thank all of you for real. Thank all of you because I know I saw a lot of comments about us on Hawaii News Now, and you guys have made a huge difference, and you guys means all of you, whether you were on once, twice, if you're on every night, our loyal viewers. But you folks have made a difference. You folks have created change for our state, and Charlie and I talked a little bit about it today, and we got some things we're going to discuss tonight that is pretty much hot off the press. But it's interesting that this group that has been created thanks to this show, you remember now, we did this. I won't say we did it for fun. We did it because we wanted to share some information at the very beginning. We had no idea where this would take us.
Right.
But now, if you fast forward 6 months or whatever it is, 7 months, um, and then please do not take any of what we say tonight as being bragging or no, we're not bragging. We're just saying that you folks have made the show. You all have submitted the suggestions and made your comments, and you folks have created change in this state. We've had heroes like Sarah and Lana and Russell that have come up and have actually made some amazing changes that if not
Aaron,
for them coming forward, we
Aaron,
wouldn't see change. I'm sorry, who else?
Aaron from Maui Memorial.
Aaron actually was the first whistleblower that came on our show.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry, Aaron, but it's because you folks come every single night and you give up an hour and a half of your night to listen and contribute and talk and chat and I remember we said a while back we were joking at the time. We were joking that people were watching, leaders were watching, decision makers were watching, and as we know now, that is the truth. They are watching, and the legislature is watching, and the administration is watching, and this, you folks, the viewers, have really created change in this state that would not have happened if not for you all. So I just wanted to say thank you, thank each and every one of you for coming on every single night. And we're having fun doing it. You know, it gets exhausting. Don't get me wrong. So I just told Patsy earlier. I said, man, I laid down as I was waiting for Charlie to come on. I just said, lean back on my couch watching the news, and I was like, oh, I'm getting tired. But we enjoy doing this, and I enjoy doing this with Charlie, and we appreciate. Just wanted to basically say thank you guys. Look, already I get this thing tells me congratulations, you've received 100 messages today on this chat. So thank you for your contributions.
Yeah. Well, folks, one thing I don't think you folks realize is that when the night's over, we go and part of our duties is to, be, and we call it due diligence, because we know what really resonates with the viewers out there, and messaging. And like an example, like last night, when the night was over, we was already at over 5,000 views. Now, even though on the screen it might say 300 something, got to remember now, everybody that's sharing, and again, we're going to encourage you to share what we're talking about right now. Take the opportunity, start a watch party, share. But when you start to share, the views multiply. And so, last night was a very, very hard-hitting segment with Dr. Miskovich, and I believe it's Kauhimanu Dang Akiona, Dr. Akiona from the Big Island. And then we went into talking about Jennifer Smith from the Department of Health, the whistleblower. Believe it or not, gang, last night there were over 700 comments. So what happens is, and I was telling Mel this off the air, is that when we do have legislators or other people within government viewing the segment at their convenience, we don't know if they came on, we don't know if they saw it, but what we do know is they get to see all of your comments. And those comments are like surveys, really. They're like surveys. So that's why I hope you understand that sometimes when we see arguments going back and forth, I know at the time you folks don't think it's anything, but we know that another set of eyes is going to look at it, and it's going to be very tall telling. That's why we ask everybody to please, keep it professional. As I know it's hard, and I know there's always someone that comes in with their off the wall. We might be talking about grapes, and somebody won't talk about apples, and the next thing you know, they're going to set off everything, and it's a snowballing effect. So when that happens, but just remember, to get people that read it, they take it to heart, and we're going to talk about some things that have been formulated, and I believe it was formulated because of some of the statements and comments that you folks made on this show. I really believe it, because it's so uncanny to have what you folks say and what they're going to try to implement so close to each other. I mean, it's so uncanny. And so I just want to thank you folks. Just know that you folks are making a difference. Uncle Mel and I, we're just on here facilitating this. And we too, we want to find out some answers, and we want to know what's happening. But for me, a lot of it's been personal. It's been personal because of my brother, and again, there's certain things happening in the medical field around COVID that's now developing, and I just want to make sure that. Oh, are you there, brother?
Yep.
Are you there? Okay.
And so are you. So are you.
Yep. Okay. So I just want to make sure that we get things in check. We get things in check. Sorry, I went off the camera there. Somebody was making a call, and it went into my my thing here. Okay, brother, are you there?
Yeah, you're there, but I'm watching you on my feed, and it looks like you're a little jerky. But I don't know if that's everybody. I don't know if it's just my iPad that I'm watching it on. But no, yeah, they see me smiling and laughing. It's because I'm reading some of the comments, like from Rhonda Morris. Anyway, Rhonda is one of those that has been on from the beginning, and we've done so much. I'm going to go back on the comments. I mean, I think I've blocked two people since we started, which isn't bad. I kind of a lot of times I miss the comments when people are going back and forth with each other, and if I see it live, then I'll block it live. I'll block whoever it is. But for the most part, everyone's been very professional, cordial. It's fine to disagree. I mean, that's what this show is all about. We want to hear everybody's views. But when it gets personal, it's no good. It's no good. And sometimes after the fact, I see the comments and I get really disappointed because the passion, this is a real issue. This isn't. We're not talking about a football game, or we're not talking about the World Series. We're talking about life. We're talking about developments as they happen. Remember, we talk about this so many times that Charlie and I, by now, we said this last night, that we had envisioned this going to a weekly show once a week, talking about local issues, and yet because of the developments that have happened every single day, we find ourselves right back with COVID, and it's not a good or bad thing. It's just we kind of was hoping we would transition out. We're still working on getting the candidate profiles back. We will have that on this month, so we can preview our council candidates. Hopefully, I'm going to try and get the Honolulu mayor and Honolulu prosecutors races as well, if they're willing to come on, because we have a lot of statewide viewers. So, we want to try and bring content that everybody wants, that has value, and that's what we're trying to do. So, anyway, I just, again, the whole, what I'm trying to say is we appreciate each and every one of you for making the changes. I got to tell you, I had a call today from Senator Jared Kaho'o. I'm so bad with his last name. I was
Kalole.
going to call, yeah. Uh, he's one of the senators on the Senate COVID committee. We'll talk about our discussion a little later. But he had given us the ultimate compliment today when he said, Mel, you and Charlie, you guys are breaking the news. You folks are breaking the news in the state. That, for me, that was, wow. I never looked at it that way. I never did. But when it came from one of our senators, we've heard a lot from people, but and asking us to possibly discuss, and we'll talk about this a little later. That made me feel really good, and it's makes me feel like this is worthwhile. So anyway, we'll cover a little bit of that. Cover a little bit about COVID POW. We'll talk about some of the changes. I did want to start off by saying Mayor Kawakami today announces emergency rule 17 now. Just, is that me?
No,
Just got approved.
that's my neighbor. They set up a new ring. They have a heavyweight fight this weekend, so they just trained them out.
Okay. It's like, and the things, Patsy looks at me like it's me, and it's not. Everything,
That's your Harley.
my Harley, like, ting, 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 on my Harley Davidson that I don't have. I was gonna buy Patsy a Harley Davidson for our anniversary, but we can't afford a Harley, so I bought her a weed whacker. She's so happy with it. Um, Hiva wants us to talk about how sacred our Napali coast is and the need to keep it that way. That's a great topic. We will definitely talk about that tonight. I'm gonna write that down because I think that we had a discussion about Haena. We had Chip Fletcher, and I mean not Chip Fletcher,
Wickman.
Chipper Wickman.
Yeah.
As he, what they did out there on the North Shore with Haena and KA should be a model for everywhere, and it's just proof that overusing our resources creates some major problems. So yeah, Hiva, thanks for that, man. We'll talk a little bit about that. And that's kind of where we wanted to take this show, into issues that we could bring on guests to talk about what's important for our island and our state. And we'll get to that one day, once we can kick COVID-19's okole. And we remain Kauai strong again. We can do this, and we will do this. But anyway, Mayor Kawakami, quarantine is that topic. We can spend a whole hour on just quarantine and quarantine breakers. I know Angela King is on the show tonight. She's been our guest several times, one of our more famous or popular guests, and she will tell you with her group, the Hawaii Quarantine Kapu Breakers, that These people don't come here for vacation. I mean, they don't come here for quarantine. They come here for vacation. And what we are seeing on Kauai, even though Kauai has that extra layer of protection at the airport screening and all of that, we have people coming out using exemptions, work exemptions, critical infrastructure exemptions, and they're staying at friends' homes, and they're eluding the quarantine. So Mayor Kawakami today announced that his emergency rule 70 got approved by the governor, and it states that everyone coming here to work for this critical infrastructure loophole, which is what it is, will now be required to stay in a hotel or a motel. They cannot stay at a house. They cannot go combine and go rent one beach house. No. They got to quarantine in a hotel or a motel because it's much easier to monitor and track. And again, I got to say, Kauai, Derek and his team has just led the charge in so many ways. And this is just one more example where, guys, you believe you got to come in to work. I still think that we should not be allowing anybody to come in to work if we have available manpower, resources here in Kauai that people that can do the job. But anyway, that's not happening. So now you will be forced to stay in a hotel or a motel. Again, one more layer of protection that makes it a lot easier to enforce and monitor. So that's in effect. Governor signed it today. I'm sorry, he signed it on the 8th yesterday. And again, any violations, it's a misdemeanor, you're in jail, or $5,000 fine. So, or that's what we got to do statewide if we want to be serious. Kai Kahele, what? Oh, Kai Kahele is on. Senator Kahele is on. See, all the big guns, all the big guns. But anyway, again, we gotta this whole thing because it evolves every single day. We find loopholes every single day. I love it that our county adjusts. And is not afraid to make these kinds of decisions and create these types of rules because at the end of the day, the county's job is to keep our residents safe and healthy. So, not sure how you think about that, Charlie, but
Well, all I know is some people jumping on. I'm looking at all the people that are jumping on. We apologize. We were really pushing for getting Miss Jennifer Smith on, however way we could, even with the help of Dr. Miskovich. But we fully understand, and we want to talk a little bit more about her and her plight. But as far as what Mel just said, I just had a comment. I just got text about maybe 15 minutes ago about these essential workers coming here, staying at one of the local, more like a motel in Kapa'a. And here they are. They got their work truck here and their fishing poles, fishing gear. So you know that they're going outside of the quarantine boundaries. They're going outside of it. And I guess that's what makes things tough. And especially when people already know who you are and so forth and so forth. So it just makes things very, I wouldn't say it creates animosity, but it does. Just by the comments I see sometimes, people get very, very upset. I think too, what's happening is why people get upset, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mel, but here these guys are working, right? And yet there's a ton load of other people not even getting one paycheck, not even getting the unemployment check. And they could be maybe doing some laborers work up here too. But I don't know if the company they work for is unionized or not, and it's strict. But nevertheless, uh, it's one of those. It's one of those things.
yeah, I guess I just, I just have a hard time understanding why anyone would want to do anything that would put someone else at risk. I just don't. I mean, if you got to come to Kauai to work, then follow the rules. And the rules now is you cannot even stop. The last rule, which I thought was kind of silly, was where you could stop on the way to your quarantine location for necessities. So in other words, you could stop at the liquor store to go buy your beer and your poo-poos. It's not necessary. It's not. You can get your food if you feel like it's that important that you need to come to work on Kauai or any of the islands. then you get your food delivered to you like any other person on quarantine. And so now that rule has changed, and you cannot. There's no exception. You go from the airport to your quarantine location, to your work site, back to your quarantine location, and it's your responsibility to coordinate food to be delivered to your place. And that's what you need to do. Now, how do you enforce that? It's very difficult, right? You stop. The guy stops. Well, I got to be politically correct. The guy or gal stops at the store to pick up some beer. How the hell are you supposed to know if the guy's on quarantine or not? So this way you just go treat it. Now you should be willing to do that. You really should be willing to do that to keep everyone safe. And we see now, Molokai you got cases now. You got the. I mean, it's the cases are spreading because of it's community spread, and it could be travel related, inter island travel related, but we shouldn't be doing things that put others at risk. That, to me, that's the plain and simple thing. And Mel, who's going to be in charge of watching them? We have our National Guard and our police guys going out checking quarantine locations, but there's no way. You know that we have 1,700 people on quarantine on Kauai. 1,700, and that includes those that are on exemption, quarantine exemption, which means they can go to work, but they got to go back to their quarantine location right after work. There's no way. There's no way of. I don't care how much money you put into it. There's just not enough people to go and stand by a work site, a job site, and follow everybody to their hotel. This not going to happen. So we got to be careful, and that's why I don't like this quarantine exemption. I don't think that should exist. I think there should be no. Just again, you utilize the local workers and get them to work. And
Well,
so
I think the bottom line is this. We've talked about it so many times on air. People who watch this know how passionate we are about one's safety, what measures you have to take. So we always talk about masking up, distancing. They talk about safe distancing. I call it safe existence. If you want to be safe, just make sure, and you want to stay virus free, just make sure you put that gap. You got to do it religiously. You got to do it religiously. And then the other thing is, sanitization whenever you can. These people, for everybody like you and I, it's not our job, even though we are mindful and trying to be helpful. But first and foremost, we got to take our safety into hand first. So it's like saying, sure, there's people that want to be lion tamers, but will you get into that cage and try to tame the lion? I don't think so, unless you've grown up in it, where you were taught from a very young age how to tame a wild animal. And so is with this virus. If you don't go fooling around with it, you should be okay, especially if you're taking care of someone at home, right? If you're taking care of someone at home, because look at this right now, and we're going to talk a little bit about it, and I think we're going to start pretty soon. If you take the example of the senior home on the Big Island, you have a total of 74 beds. Okay, they can host 74 residents at that senior home. Right now, there is 63 infected cases. Think about it. 63 out of 74. That means that there's only 11 right now that Dr. Miskovich and his team have to identify and isolate. Then they have to look at the others who are infected. But more so, what was the percentages he used last night? He used a 95 to 5. 5% is probably from family, and the other 95 is from staff. So you need to look at the staff. Who is the first contact? You need to put them up in an orange zone. And then what do you have to do from there? You got to watch and constant testing. He made it perfectly clear to us last night that in order to beat this cluster that's on the Big Island right now, you got to constantly test so you know what direction this darn virus is heading. Now, that's some serious stuff. So right now, we on Kauai, if we're going to do something serious, the safest thing that we can do is if you have these guys on exemptions, if you have them bugging out when they're not supposed to, if they're taking advantage of the system, you don't have to be in danger by going close to them. You can make a call, say, hey, we know these guys are supposed to be quarantined, but they're not. Just stay away. Just stay away. That'd be the safest thing for you to do.
We talk about the care home. I mean, today's news, 10 now. 10 people have died, and the 10 veterans that
Yep.
are there to be taken care of have died because of COVID. Totally unacceptable.
Yes.
So somebody mentioned it, it's because they didn't do squat from the beginning, and I think that Dr. Miskovich covered it quite well. That these types of places, care homes, hospitals.
Oh,
Uh,
did you hear the individual from the care home? I believe it's Avalon. What she said
yeah,
on,
I heard the spokesperson.
but
Um,
but did you hear what she said? She said when this thing happened, we've never had any guidelines. We never had any guides. We didn't know about this. I mean, she's saying that, and I'm like, I mean, do you know what you're saying? Do you know what liability you're putting yourself into right now? I mean, she said it. It's proof. Go on the air and watch it. I was like, you lady, you know this thing was happening. It's not like this cluster that the care home in the Big Island happened 5 months ago. It happened recently. So you mean from the time the pandemic hit the shores of Hawaii, you folks have done nothing to care to put into play for your people, that your patients. You mean to tell me you have put nothing in place to keep them safe? Wow, that's a tough thing to swallow, boy.
yeah, I don't know what point she was trying to get across. To me, basically, she's like the spokesperson, and she's like um, basically validating the fact that they're incompetent.
Yep.
I hate to say that, but like you say, Charlie, they had 6 months. CDC has guidelines. There's guidelines. What the hell did they think? They were immune to this? I mean, they should have had a plan. You have all these experts out there that they could have talked to. I mean, Dr. Minskovich has been out front and center from the beginning. And, you know, I don't know how the financial part works. I don't know how Dr. Miskovich does. 'Cause it doesn't matter to me. If you're running a facility that you're in charge of taking care of veterans or seniors or disabled people, whatever structure you have in your facility, you do what you got to do to make sure it's as safe as possible. Now, can we be 100% safe? Absolutely not. But
Hmm.
can we reduce as much of the risk as possible? Damn right. And that's what they failed to do. And again, Maui Memorial, same thing, right? Whistleblower came out, and that's what created them to move forward. He had to get an attorney to get them to start doing the right thing. So, I'm tired. I guess I'm tired of excuses when we're so far into this thing. Like a month into it, yeah, maybe 2 months, but after that, there's no excuse anymore. The guidelines are out. It's been out forever, and yes, they change, but apparently there's a major problem there. To have 10 people die after 6 or 7 months of this virus, not acceptable. Period. Plain and simple. And yes, it's veterans. Yes, they deserve our full support and care. But those standards should be applied to any facility that is responsible for being the caretakers of anyone. That's just that's just how this thing works, and very disappointing. Very, very, very disappointing.
Well, you look at
Uh,
the amount of the staff that got infected. The staff is a pretty large number.
yeah,
So, I mean,
and
what the staff number represents, if they were to be quarantined right now, technically, you don't have a staff to take care, because what Dr. Miskovich says, you got to isolate the staff, right, who's like infected. If that's the case, I mean, I don't know what the total employment staff is, but that sounds like a big chunk for
yeah.
74 beds. That means that they shouldn't have had anybody working there if they all had to be isolated.
Now I'm a huge football fan. I'm like a huge football fan. And what is more important, football or taking care of our veterans or our seniors in a housing facility? Charlie, what is more important?
Well, number one, you take care of your seniors, but not only that, People are getting paid to take care of them. See, this is something that I know about because at the medical examiner's office, my task was to investigate those cases of um, long-term care, and patients were getting ulcers. They weren't properly turned. They weren't properly checked, and that resulted in them getting sepsis, and then ultimately they die. Okay, so when you have a facility that actually receives money to care for somebody, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Okay, it's not
Yeah.
like it was a family member caring for them, but you got basically professional help caring for them. And it almost seems, and this is Monday night quarterbacking, I understand, gang, but it almost seems as if that that code that someone took to protect, just like when you're a cop, right, to protect and serve, it somehow fell through the cracks. They weren't getting the protection they needed, because remember, these people, for all intents and purposes, many of them were confined to their beds. Okay,
Mhm.
so if you read about, like, I had to read about grass. Why is certain grass poisonous? Because grass doesn't have legs, so nature gives it this poison. So if animals try to eat it, it can deflect the animal from them. Well, these people can't go anywhere, so that's why they have aids to help them to move. Could they have outrun this virus? Yeah, if they could walk and if they knew where the darn thing was, but they weren't told anything. So here you got professionals that's being relied upon to take care of them. And all I'm saying is something happened. Something happened in that split second of time that resulted in them getting infected. And the result is 10 unfortunately passed away.
And that's why I asked about the football, because now you go to football, you go to look. Dr. Miskovich talked about the SEC. They hired Dr. Miskovich and his team to coordinate a strategic plan, a testing plan, a protocol to keep these people safe, because the game must go on. The NFL starts tomorrow. Now, in order for them to do this, they have to put these players in bubbles, right? They had an option, right? You want the season to go on, you cannot be running around. You cannot go to the bars. You cannot be hanging out and congregating with others. You're gonna go practice. You're gonna go home. You're gonna practice. We're gonna play the game. If you want this season to continue, if you want to get your paychecks, this is what you got to do. We got to make it as safe as possible. Now, I do not say this to disrespect any of those employees at any of the facilities. But like, you're a firefighter or you're an officer of the law, you know that your job comes with some uncomfortable things you got to do. And all I'm saying is that in a facility like that, you got to make sure that your employees are not going out and carousing and going into the clubs and going into, and not, I'm not saying that they did this, but what I'm saying is, are there measures in place that's going to isolate them from any possibility of getting that virus, so they don't come into the facility, into those patients that cannot move, cannot fend for themselves, and come in and they're sitting ducks for the virus. So that's all I'm saying, is that if we can do it for football and other sports, then we can do it for our healthcare profession.
Yes.
And if you're not willing to do that, then you go find another profession, because we need people right now. And again, this is temporary, right? So, and hopefully this thing will end sooner than later. But the longer we mess up, the longer we don't do what we're supposed to do, oh, you get another surge that sets us back. You get another cluster that sets us back. So we all got to do what we got to do, and sometimes it's going to be uncomfortable. My wife and I should be out having dinner tonight. I don't. I'm not going to no restaurant tonight, and not because of the Mel and Charlie show. Because if we didn't have the fear of COVID, Mel Raposa would be absent from this show right now. We'd be having dinner, and I know you all would understand. But there's nowhere. So we sacrifice, because that's what we got to do to get through this. And that's all I'm suggesting, is that everybody needs to do that if we want to get through this virus. And
Well,
it's real.
if anything is to be said, If we look at the timeline again, and I'm going to just say this once, and I'm not going to pick on the care home anymore because I think a lot speaks for itself. We know what the news is saying. But if you look at it, ladies and gentlemen, Halenani, Pearl City Nursing Home, all those nursing homes happened several months ago. Those were examples. Okay? Those were examples about what happens if someone is infected and they go in and they can infect patients. So the Big Island Nursing Home cannot say that they did not know it's possible because they had other nursing homes. So what have we been preaching all this time is that the governor and his administration, Department of Health, learn from other people's mistakes. Look at the other states that made mistakes, learn from them, so we try not to replicate that mistake and get into the same problem that they got into, right? But no, they wanted to do their own. Same like with this nursing home. If they saw some of the mistakes, I'm pretty sure if someone was smart enough, they would have keyed in and said, okay, this is what happened over there. Let's not let it happen to us. But did that happen? I cannot say yes or no, but I can tell you one thing. The end result is pretty clear. Something happened.
Yeah,
Can't get away.
it's very clear that, and I think Dr. Miskovich talked about it last night, that the widespread testing of all staff and
Exactly.
residents weren't done, and that's key. I mean, I think but again, you follow the leader, you follow the state. Remember, all along, the state was never into testing. They were never into tracing. So, I mean, again, it's not to blame anybody, but we should have taken a much stronger, as a state, we should have taken a much stronger approach, as all the other areas in the world did. We
Yep.
should have followed suit, and we chose not to. We had a better plan, supposedly. We had smarter leaders, supposedly. Well, the leaders are gone now, and now we suffer the aftermath. So, I want to get this in real quick, Charlie. It's Drew just posted. This was a while ago, actually. I stopped the scroll so I could read it. Can you let any unemployed that are on the Hawaii UI Facebook site that they need to send in their problems to the class action Facebook group? Lieutenant Green is working with them. Mahalo. So if you are unemployed and are getting problems, this is how I read this. Go look for the Hawaii UI Facebook site. Just go into your search window up on Facebook, type in Hawaii UI, and I'm assuming they have a group there. Go ahead and join the group and submit the problems that you're having. Looks like they're going to be I'm assuming it's Lieutenant Governor Josh Green is working with that group to help rectify some of those problems. So I just wanted to get that in before it scrolls, and I'll never be able to find it because we have a ton of chat messages that I missed quite a few. Real quick, because we're talking about unemployment, for those of you on Kauai, again, we're going to try to bounce around everywhere because I want to get to the meat in a little bit. But Kauai renters encouraged apply for the rent relief program. Kauai County has made CARES funds available. Catholic Charities and Aloha United Way will be administering this grant, but they will be allowing up to $1,500 per household per month between August and December. So the money will go directly to your landlord. So if you're having difficulties because of COVID, financial difficulties, and you are having problems paying rent, make sure you contact the county and call Catholic Charities. Let me just say, call the Catholic Charities or email Catholic Charities. Go to their website and get more information there. But this is, again, between August and December, up to $1,500. That money will go straight to the landlord to help alleviate some of your financial issues. So, again, Kauai County stepping up, making some funds available for those that need rental assistance.
Well, it was
Go ahead, Charlie. I'm sorry.
it was on that conference the other day. The gentleman from the Catholic Charities came on, and they spoke about it. So I think they're going to try to help wherever they can. Now, folks, I hope you know that everyone is in this ship together and everyone is stuck. I know you asked for forgiveness or a moratorium on your rent. Hey, I'm all for that. But we also got to look at the property owners who are renting the properties. If they have mortgages, and now because of what's happening, and they're not able to pay that mortgage, again, it's a trickling effect that affects everyone. Who would have known this would have ever happened to anybody in this day and age? But it has. So we all got to work together, because you can work with the landlord, fine, because the landlord's going to have to find some way. Because if the lender starts moving on some kind of foreclosure, then guess what? Everybody's going to be out of that property. It doesn't matter. Your moratorium is not gonna help you, because the landlord who has the note, that has to pay that note, he's being evicted. He can't fall into that exemption group where he can ask for a moratorium right now. It's not going to help him. So I'm just saying, we got to work together. It's I mean, I don't have the answers, but we just got to try work together.
Take advantage of these opportunities for assistance. Whatever is available out there, please, guys. There is no shame in COVID. There is absolutely no shame in COVID. You know, so if you need the help, Catholic Charity is the place to go. And Triana, one of our viewers, amazing woman, will be there to help you guys out. So just do it, and don't wait, because I don't know how much money to get, and the last assistance package that came, it disappeared real quick. So call Catholic Charities tomorrow morning. Go to the Catholic Charities website and get the information on how you can participate in that
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
A couple of things we want to talk about, Charlie. Definitely want to talk about COVID POW.
Hmm.
And maybe we should go there now, and then we'll end up with. We won't forget, Eva. We will not forget about Nepali, because I want to close with that actually tonight. I really want to share a little bit about our resources here. Not just our natural resources, but cultural resources. But a couple of things I want to talk about is the COVID POW. So Charlie, you want to give us a
Well, first
overview?
things I like to say, whatever Mel and I we're going to start talking about, because we see there's a lot of people, not only on Kauai but from other islands, that's on the feed right now. So we'll try to, we want to make it a full encompassing time that we can address a lot of things. Okay, we're not going to just target one area. Today I was made aware of this COVID POW. There was something on air, and it comprises of many of the CEOs of our healthcare system, of the banks, of businesses, hotel, Elliot Mills from the Aulani, the general manager up there, all the big wigs. And it almost has the appearance as if they're basically saying, you know what, we've heard so much about public-private partnership, partner-private-ship. I mean, whatever. I get, I'm getting tongue-tied. But
The fork tongue.
yeah, fork tongue, that's a noun. Okay, fork tongue is a noun, if you saw my post today. But what's happening now is they basically say, you know what, enough is enough. They put together this team, and they're going to fuse all their expertise in trying to get real data available for all of you to see, to kind of help us start maneuvering the ship. Because guess what, they're part of the legislative, the House committee. They're part of that, because Scott Psyche was on. And if I heard right, it pretty came, I mean, it pretty damn close came to saying that, they, I mean, well, I'm just going to say it. To me, it sounded like they ain't putting their faith in the governor anymore, because of all that's happening. It's like, inactive actions, really. And but what kind of piqued my interest is they've been talking about things about what should be done, and it mirrors a lot of the stuff that Mel and I have been talking about for the last 5 months. So I told Mel, hey, I wonder if somebody listening to our show and they're taking the ideas and running with it over there. I mean, it sounded that way, and so I was kind of tickled pink, and I just said, hey, at least they're gonna. It's better to do something than not do anything at all. That's what it came out to be. That's what it came out to be. And I'm
Well,
really, really happy they're going to take action now.
the communication flow, the transparency has always been a problem with this state from day one,
Yep.
and we know this. And that's why I think the integrity of the state administration right now is not happening. They're at very low faith and trust in our government, and it's because, I mean, come on, guys, Department of Health, Department of Education, Corrections, Department of Public Safety, major issues. I mean, people are losing their jobs because they cannot do the job, and the numbers, yeah, the confusion with the numbers, it's just, it doesn't end. And we try, trust me, Charlie and I, we try to give props to the functions that are working. We're very satisfied. And listen, we're not the gurus, we're not the experts, we're just like everyone else. We are tax-paying citizens that want to know what's going on so we can protect the ones we love, and that has been missing from day one. And we've had the Senate COVID committee from very early on, and we've had them on our show a few times, Senator De La Cruz and Mercado Kim and Favela and Kidani, and there's one more, and I apologize. But anyway, they have been trying their best to suck out the truth from our department heads, and they have gotten pretty much nowhere. And we've seen their frustration, and that frustration continues. And now the House is realizing, hey, we just kind of, Charlie's hit it right on the head, that we don't have that kind of faith that we should be having with our leaders in the state, and maybe we got to try this new approach. Great, but it's 7 months into this thing, and better late than never. But again, and it's going to lead us right into the next topic, because
Well, let me ask you this before you go on to the next topic. I, for one, have always advocated for a safe opening because we need to be safe. But I, for
Mhm.
one, was very, very angry because, like anything else, if you do a manhunt, okay, you don't close down the entire island looking for a suspect. You get the last known location, you spread the perimeter a little bit wider, and you set up your hunt from there. So if everything happened in Waianae on the Kohala coast, you don't lock everything down all the way to Hilo or everything down to Waimanalo. It doesn't make sense. So why I'm getting a little bit emotional and passionate about this is because I was watching the news tonight, looking at those restaurants. Hey, what's so hard about letting them make takeout? What's so hard about letting them sit outside? Because nothing in the contact tracing is telling me that the restaurants were responsible for this climb. Nothing is telling me that. So I said, hey, these are contributors to our economy. Why are you strangling them and hoping for a miracle to happen? Now you're going to jumpstart and you're going to expect them to start like that quickly. We had Tina Yamaki, right? What did she tell us? What did Sherry McNamara say? The same thing, that it takes some time to ramp up to get the pace going. And now Sylvia Luke is telling us, they're talking about, some of the experts, it's going to be a real temporary bubble, about maybe 2 years, but the total recovery now looks like 4 years. You mean to tell me 2024? That's when it scares me. It scares me, and I think a lot of seniors that have your savings, we may have to take care of our children because our children are going to fall on tough times. And if it means that I gotta dig out and put into my help my sons and my daughter, so be it. I mean, we're all in it together. I'm not gonna leave none of my kids behind. This is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and what's going to happen is, my kids already left. I think more and more will leave. I don't know enough to get them back home and make sure that they're going to be able to survive here. It's going to take. I mean, I remember early estimates 5 to 7 years before we see tourism back to where it was pre-COVID. Maybe it's down to 4 or 5. It really doesn't matter because Can our people survive that? You saw what the median cost, sales price of a house in Oahu was, just came out yesterday or the day before. Did you see what it was?
No.
It was over $800,000, 830 or 840. I forget what the number was, but it was over $800,000 for an average, the median, not average, but the median cost of a residential dwelling in Honolulu. What is that
That,
telling you? What does that tell you, Charlie?
well,
Most of the people
yeah,
aren't working. Most of the people don't have no damn money. So what does that tell you? You got
yep,
people coming in from the mainland buying up the stuff. Same here. Same on Kauai.
yep.
I mean, I am privy to some information as far as people that are intended residents coming in here because of my job. There's a ton of them that are moving here, buying stuff here. And every time we sell a local property to someone on the mainland, we taking away inventory from our local kids that cannot afford to stay here, and that's just a whole other discussion. My point is that we cannot continue on this track. The state needs to get off their okole and figure out how we're going to move forward and start to allow our local businesses to thrive and to start to at least to stay afloat. Um, it's just this. I mean, you cannot continue like this. We're going to lose all our residents away. They're going to go. They're not going to have a choice. Our homeless population will grow for those that cannot even afford to go to the mainland, and our visitor or intended resident population is going to grow, squeezing out our local people, and that is horrific. And we gotta. And again, everything that we have done from day one, and I go back to my first Facebook Live back in March, where the governor came out and said we're going to do the quarantine, but we're going to wait 6 days, right? Giving all these damn visitors an opportunity to change their flights so they could squeeze their vacations into Hawaii, knowing that we had a COVID issue, knowing that we had a problem in Hawaii, and that in fact letting these people come in 6 days before the quarantine because he didn't want to inconvenience the tourists. That's what he said. We
Hmm.
don't want a visitor coming off a plane finding out that there's a quarantine. Oh God, please! I'm not going to go there because that's going to set me off. I'm not going. We're going to fast forward. But from that moment on, and we knew that this governor was controlled by the visitor industry. There was no secret, and he made it no secret. Every decision that has been made from then till now has been about we got to open up for the Trans-Pacific. What the hell you call Trans-Pacific? We opening them up to visitors, to tourists, and it kills me every time. Every move, it's a chess game, right? Every move the governor did was to make it to justify opening the state to the visitors. That's no secret. I mean, goddamn, just watch every single press conference that he's done. Watch every single action that he's taken. It's always to either keep our numbers low via no testing, no contact tracing, keep our numbers low so we can justify opening up the state to visitors. That has never changed from day one. And Charlie, can I move into that next topic? Because I think it's the perfect time.
Yeah, okay. You stop talking for now, and let's move into the next topic.
So I'm sick of it, and this brings me up to Senator Jarrett Keoho Kalole.
Color.
Keoho Kalole.
Yeah.
So I get a message from Jarrett today, Senator Keoho Kalole from the Windward side, and he's asking for some input. He wants to run something past us, and they will be on our show. They will be on our show. But his concern is the same as ours. Why are we so reactive? And why are we not focusing on our inter-island local resident travel before we start letting visitors in? I'll take a breathe. Yeah, I gotta take a breather.
No, that's breeder. Breeder.
Breather. I thought that was a brilliant idea, right? We have been focusing, not we on this show, but we as a government have been focusing on how can we get the visitors back to Hawaii as soon as possible. Never mind the state Never mind the residents. Never mind the people that need to travel within the islands to visit family or go doctor or whatever. So the concept is a very simple one. And listen, the senator wants to hear from you folks as far as the concept. Now, the details got to be worked out, and I'm not going to steal his thunder. He will come on to explain it. But the idea is this: before we can even think about opening up trans-Pacific travel and lifting the quarantine for them, that we should do an inter-island test. That we should be focusing on our inner island residents, us. That if we comply with certain conditions, pre-test, post-test, medical screening before you leave and after you arrive. And if you comply with all of that, you can safely go without quarantine. Inter-island only, not visitors. Not visitors. Sorry, we're going to test out the system utilizing one island, maybe two islands, but the conditions to be relieved of quarantine will be based on medical and scientific data, not who you know. It's basically going to be, hey, you take your pre-test, you get to Kauai, you take a post-test, you get your, of course, your medical screening pre and post. In other words, when you get here, you're going to get screened again, and you download an app onto your phone. If you don't like do that, then it doesn't change. You're stuck to quarantine for 14 days. So,
No, we're gonna change that. Remember what I told you?
yeah. I mean, I just say what the plan is. Charlie wants to go 30 days. I agree. We'll see what the senator.
I'm saying go 30 days because if I throw 30 days at anybody, they're gonna say, brother, give me the test. Where do I have to go? Here, shove them up my nose. You like shove them through my toes, up to my nose, out of my eye sockets. Go for it. I ain't taking no 30 days. Yeah, they're gonna go for the test because that's what you want. You want to see if the person has the virus or not, correct? And if he
Correct.
does, and if he clear, he or she, they get to the quarantine is lifted. You avoid the quarantine, and that's how it
Right.
should be. And if it works, then we can just adapt it to a larger scale.
Correct.
We have to show that it works for us. Hey, I'm all for it. I'll be that guinea pig. I would love to go to Honolulu and see my children. I haven't seen them all this time. I would love to.
Like I said, the concept is brilliant. I mean, and you know what? You know what the senator said? The idea came from one of his constituents. Like how like a lot of the discussions that were at the Senate COVID committee months ago all came from stuff that you folks brought up on comments. Same thing, but it's what a brilliant you think about what a brilliant concept, right? We're gonna do it. We're not. Hey, you from the mainland, you wait your turn. We're gonna focus on. We're gonna give our inner island people some opportunities for some free travel to go visit my auntie. My mom's sister lives in Honolulu. My grandma, who's still alive, is at Wilcox in the care home. She's 102. My auntie wants to come see her. She cannot come here. She will stay 14 days in quarantine. Now, if my auntie decides to take a test, get her screening in Honolulu, get her screening back on Kauai, take another test, then she can move around for 3 or 4 days or whatever she wants to. I think Jared hit it on the head when he said, "Why are we making decisions for Trans-Pacific when we're not even discussing our own residents, our own local residents?" Brilliant. I got to tell you, and I love your comments. I love your comments, people, because this is what he wants to know. If you think he's crazy, he wants to know that as well. Trust
Folks,
me.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if you can write tonight and it pertains to the subject, no tell me about why is your brownies coming out flat? It's not puffy enough. We're not asking for you for that. Okay? We're asking for you, put some comments down right now because that senator, Keoho Kalole, will take a look at that. That's what he's looking for. And remember when I first opened and I said, you'd be surprised who looks at the comments, who formulates. You folks are going to be pioneers in helping formulate this program. So it's very, very important that you put your comments down tonight.
I asked him if we could touch on it tonight. Obviously, we're not going to do any of the details.
Mhm.
But he is in communication. He did send a letter to the governor. and he did get some letters sent from two of the mayors, from two of the counties, other counties, not counting Honolulu. And again, this is not going to impact Honolulu. It's for neighbor islands. I love it. I got to tell you, man. I appreciate Senator Keoho Kalole for moving this forward. Now, I I don't know. I see some crock and crack and whatever. I'm not sure what you're trying to say, Kurt. But if you want to put out your comment, I can read it. I don't know what crack. Oh, K-rack, K-rack, Portuguese. Ah, K-rack. But anyway, so
Oh,
we're gonna have.
I know. No, that's not K-Rack. That's that new. They talked about that new store that's replacing Kmart. That's K-Rack. That's the one.
Got it, got it, got it. That's what I thought. So these comments, I asked the senator if we could share a little bit about it. I love, the response. He's going to see this if he's. I don't know if he might even be on, but what that to me that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Stop worrying about the tourists. Stop worrying about the tourists right now. Let's get the inter island travel floating so we can go to Honolulu and support the uh, the businesses there. That Maui, Big Island, can travel between themselves and participate in support or supporting those economies in those on these different islands. I tell you, good stuff, and we're gonna have the senator on with a couple of the mayors that are at least willing to look into it and talk about it. I love the responses, guys. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
This is how we, as a group, on this show, will
Can
help
make
make.
a change.
This
Yeah.
is how we're gonna do them. And we get legislators like that who thinks outside the box, innovators that will make this happen. The people will put the pressure on the governor. That's how it has to be done. So I wanted to squeeze that
And
in.
folks, if you're serious, like Mel said, this is how change can take place. So if you're serious, before this year over, you would like to see Mel as governor and I as lieutenant governor, then put your comments. Put your comments.
Charlie, we were supposed to announce Friday. This guy. Let's do it, bro. Let's do it, Charlie. Let's run. Let's
Yeah,
run.
yeah, governors, Farrington governors.
All right. Okay. I promised Eva we would move into this. So this is a great segue because with travel, we're going to get visitors. And, I'm going to talk about the Nepali coast because I'm familiar with the Nepali coast because it's here on Kauai. But every one of your, look, the cat is out of the bag. Oh my God. Now, tomorrow, going to be on Hawaii News Now. The
Now
new
we're proposal.
and Charlie, you want to running for governor, lieutenant governor. Hey, look, have some fun. Spread that rumor. I'm gonna make bumper stickers. What the hell?
You,
I'm
you know
gonna.
the re- you know the reaction gonna be up at the legislature. What?
They're gonna call Facebook and they're gonna cut the feed. Anyway, anyway. So with this on all of our islands, we have those areas that are special. On Kauai for me, Koke, very special. The Nepali, it's very special, sacred places. So how do we? T-shirts. They're talking about t-shirts. How do we preserve these areas when eventually when we start opening up, not just to tourists but to the local residents as well? So Hiva has been very active. Um, the guy loves this island like no other, and he's a brother. He's an awesome brother of mine, and when we start doing things like commercializing our natural resources, like putting bridges up in Nepali to make it easier for the tourists to traverse, wrong, wrong. When we remember years ago, Charlie, I don't know if you were here yet. Yeah, you were here already when the government, the state wanted to commercialize Koke State Park.
Hmm.
They wanted to widen the roads. They took
Yeah.
back all the leases from the cabins and they were going to build new cabins. They had a helipad. They had a hotel They had it was going to be a fantasy island for the tourists and the rich. See, what was going to happen was all those cabin leases were going to go out into a worldwide auction. So all the local people that hold those leases would be gone. There's no way you can compete with the billionaires of the world who wants a little piece of our magical island of magical mountain of Koke. Same like the Napali. We got to make sure that we don't allow that commercialization. We need to make sure that we maintain it for our especially for our local residents to go up and enjoy, but we cannot be defacing those areas to make it as an attraction for visitors. I like tourists. I love that industry, but you know our natural resources. You cannot undo the mistakes that you make. So with Coquet, the people, I can remember that public hearing. We had the state DLNR was up at Convention Hall, and it was incredible. It was not one soul that went up there and said we support it. And at the end of the day, it never went through. And we got to do the same kinds of things when they start talking about um, Napali and the North Shore and all those wonderful trails and beaches out on that coast. So again, I hope we stand together again as we transition away from COVID, Charlie. These are the types of issues that we wanna bring forward to get people engaged in the discussion and actually let decision makers know how the people feel. Because listen, if Hiva didn't bring this up today, uh, we wouldn't be talking about it right now. And that is why we need to keep that flow. We talked about transparency earlier on, and it's vital that government keeps their constituents in the loop. We get fancy newsletters. I don't know. It seems like we get more newsletters from our reps during the election year than non-election years.
That's what I can't stand.
Oh, I tell you, that drives me nuts. When it's approaching election year, all of a sudden you get all these things. But we need to know what's going on. The people need to know. There we go. No touch Kalalau. Absolutely. And we'll get with Hiva, and we're going to talk about this. We'll definitely have a show about it because, again, once you deface that, once you ruin it, you cannot bring it back. We can. And I'm gonna bring this up real quick. And I know a lot of people know my history with the bike path because when I was on the council, I didn't support the bike path along the coast, and it's not because I didn't support a bike path. It's I did not support $10 million bike path along a coast that was eroding. Many people took me out of context and called me the anti-bike guy, and they still do. But now look at by Lidgate, by Punokai, by Kahalani, the erosion is under the bike path now. Exactly what I said would happen. And now the county's got to realize now what we're going to do. Yeah, the federal funds are gone. We gotta foot the bill now for that. So this is my point. When you mess with nature, and you cannot restore that. Once you mess with nature's uh, the erosion cycles and you cannot change that back to where it was. So we got to be careful when we deal with that. Yeah, the bike path along the coast is a beautiful thing, but it didn't have to be 10-foot wide concrete that deep. No, it could have been a nice path that people could have rode their bikes on. Anyway, I'm not going. I'm just saying that what they're doing on the Napali at Kalalau and trying to build bridges and walkways and pathways and all of that. Bad idea. We gotta protect that natural resource as it is, as it was built by God, needs to remain. I
You know,
hope I hope
I
I
don't,
covered enough of that, Eva.
I don't know why they want to put that in a natural surrounding. You want bridges, you want pathways. And what you do is you go downtown Honolulu and just plant more trees, and then you get the same effect. Okay, you can get you want to see beautiful canyons where you can get beautiful buildings, but now you get trees all over the area. You got to leave nature as it was.
I
I do
agree.
want I do want to cover one thing before we take a look at the time. Oh, we're at the closure. folks, this thing still is still catching me, and I try to wrap my head around it, and we're gonna try our hardest to try to bring on the whistleblower from the Department of Health because they played up on it on the news. She's gonna see her union, HGA. I mean, first of all, and I don't expect you folks to think the same way, but usually you will know when a person's a cop. They have a certain way of thinking because we have to put the case together and try to get a successful prosecution because if we go and make the arrest and all of that goes to the courts, they tried, the trier of fact, it's people like you. If you sit on the jury, you believe our side, the person gets sentenced. You don't believe our side, the person gets acquitted. That's just how it works. When this person came out and we found out that she was removed as of Friday of last week, the first thing that Mel and I said, well, got to be something really serious. Now, when Dr. Miskovich said that, oh, she was, it involved a weapon. She threatened somebody with a weapon. I said, what crock of bull is that? I mean, if you're going to go that far with a cockamamie story as that, and forgive me, if I'm wrong, then I'll come on the air and I'll admit I'm wrong. But man, that's taking it to a whole new extreme. If you're going to go that far, you should have said she went to the Honolulu Zoo one night and stole an elephant. And she was seen riding down Kalakaua Avenue with an elephant. Why didn't they do that? But to make a claim as such and then have a letter by the deputy director, nobody even bothered to advise her of anything, not even her rights to remain silent. Because I'm pretty sure she was so shocked, she must have been asking, oh, what about this? What about that? Somebody got to tell her, hey, the best thing is say nothing. So that's why, Mel, I don't know how you feel, but man, this thing just, if you do something illegal, then, we talked about the immunity, right? She sought immunity. She supposedly got that immunity from the AG's office. But if you do something illegal, that immunity is not worth squat. Because the immunity protects you from retaliation. It doesn't allow you to go do something illegal. I'm going to get that out right now. But I cannot see her doing what that thing claims. And I'm sorry.
Don't apologize, man. I think I would believe everyone on this show right now agrees with you. We talked about it last night. She's a hero. Her actions saved lives, and we will never know how many lives that Jennifer saved by stepping up and coming forward. We know it was validated. Everything that she said was validated. It's not like they disputed it. They couldn't dispute it. The Senate, based on her coming forward, did the surprise visit, and at that point, look what happened since. Yeah, we found out that we were being lied to for months. So, yeah, I don't know where this is going to go. I think it was horrible to have the sheriffs escort her out. Yeah, she's definitely not a criminal. She's a hero in my book, and we're going to try and get her on the show hopefully this week. The other thing, real quick, and I appreciate you guys sending announcements. If you guys have announcements of things you guys are doing, let us know. Malama Pono Health Services will be reopening the COVID Housing Assistance Program list on Friday morning at 10 a.m. 246-9577, 246-9577. Ask for Misty or Rob, $1,500 for up to 3 months if qualified. So go to the Malama Pono website, or you can call Misty at 246-9577. But go to the Malama Pono website, look up their housing assistance program, and you got the county's housing assistance program, guys. The help is out there. Take advantage of it. There is no shame in asking when you need help. Really, there is absolutely no shame. Gosh, tomorrow night, just got confirmation. Daniel Ross He's the president of the Hawaii Nursing Association. Will be our guest tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. He will be talking to us about the challenges that our frontline nurses. Again, more heroes. You know, we got the cops and the firemen and the firewomen and the nurses and the doctors that are on the front line every single day dealing with COVID patients. Uh, so Daniel is going to be on to share with us what's going on with them. And we don't know. That's one we didn't cover anyone from the healthcare. We've had the doctors on, but
No,
we all.
we had one. Remember, Mario Memorial. We had one nurse,
Oh
but
yeah,
that
the whistleblower,
yeah,
the whistleblower. Um, but when you've ever been in a hospital, you spend more time with the nurse than with the doctor. The doctor comes in and the doctor goes out. The nurse is the one that basically takes care of you. So I'm excited. I love our nurses. You cannot really say enough for them because they got to deal with this every single day. So Daniel Ross will be with us tomorrow night. Again, he's the president of Hawaii Nursing Association. That'll be fun. They're gonna be uh, when I say fun, I don't mean fun like in Charlie's Fun. I that's because that is fun. But I mean fun because it'll be informative and educational, and that's what this is all about. Charles, what's up,
uh,
man?
I first would like to say I am so happy. I was just overjoyed. I got to talk to our friend Lana Hughes today before we came on tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, she's back at work. She says it's a little tough, but she's back in work and she's being a trooper. She's taking all the precautions. But now she said, Uncle, I know more now and I know what to watch out for. And here's a brave little sergeant going back to work, doing what she loves to do. But she's taking a role of being extra careful and advising everyone around her to be careful. Okay? Because if you notice, the numbers in the prison have gone down with the prisoners, not with the guards. So, like we talked about last night with Dr. Miskovich, it's probably the guards now are passing it to each other. So now they have to play the role of putting that stopgap between each of them, like when they're at briefing or anything. But I just wanted to say to all of you out there, she's back at work, and I'm so happy for her. And all the best to her. All the best to her.
We got Jennifer, Lana, Sarah, Russell, Aaron. These guys, true heroes. I hate repeating myself, but I think we need to recognize these people. And there's so many
Yeah.
out there that have reached out to Charlie and myself, and because of fear of retaliation, obviously cannot come forward. But we're informed of so much that's going on that we just simply, I will never um, talk about third party information that I receive. If we don't validate it, we don't talk about it.
Yes.
And I can totally appreciate and respect anyone that is afraid to stand up, because obviously you see what the state is capable of doing, and it's just a shame.
Hmm.
But I just want to say mahalo to Jennifer, Lana, Sarah, Russell, Aaron, for those of you that have, and all of you that are in your own way making a difference, saving lives. That's what this is all about, people. I don't want to hear about this flu crap anymore. This stuff is bad. We know it. People are dying, and these people have stepped up and save lives, and they need to be recognized. And I ask for everyone to pray for them every night, man. Pray for our heroes. You don't got to name them. Just pray for our heroes that are on the front line doing what
Yep.
they need to keep people alive. And all of you, every single one of you that come on this show are part of that. And we thank each and every one of you.
Yes.
Amazing stuff, amazing stuff. So anyway, any closing comments, Charles? If not, we're
No,
going to let
just
you go.
everybody, just be safe, please. Um, our intent again, we try to bring the information forward. You use what you need to use. Sometimes we get a little emotional because we're human, like all of you out there, and we get upset because we think many are getting shortchanged. Right now, one of our focuses is going to be on this unemployment system. I don't know why they got a new person in there, and it's just I mean, it's like the city of refuge. Nobody can touch that place to make it better for some reason. It's nuts. So we'll try to get some information. But thank you, all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you for all of your comments. But most of all, thank you for loving me and Uncle Mel, because without you folks, this would not be possible. Okay, so just remember that.
Thanks, Charlie. And again, man, I know we said this a lot, but we wouldn't have a show without you, and we definitely wouldn't have a show without Charlie. So thank you, Charlie,
No?
for keeping up your night, and as well as Stephanie and of course Patsy,
Yep.
who puts up with us and allows us to do this every night. And there's two people that I want to recognize as well that I kind of forgot, and I feel like crap right now. But it's Rhonda Morris and Tyson Moises. Those two people from day one have been on this show, and they've participated in all of our fundraising drives, the mask drives, the shield drives, and those guys are real special, and I want to thank them. We
Exactly.
gotta have them on again, Charles. We
Huh?
gotta have we gotta we gotta have them on.
You
We gotta
coming in you coming in broken. What was that?
All right, everybody. Tomorrow night, Hawaii Nursing Association president will be on 7 o'clock. We'll have some fun with him, and you guys stay safe. God bless you guys. We love you, folks. We'll see you tomorrow night.
Aloha.
Aloha.